Alright. Ace Attorney time. Hand. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. Capcom. Press enter. Options. Hold on, I forgot I changed the game so that it's not full screen. There we go. Okay, now let me put that on. Okay, and desktop audio. There we go, got that adjusted. Yep. What were we doing? Maybe here? Was it here? Okay, I think it was here. It'll probably come back to me as I'm playing. I don't quite remember what we were doing. Lana, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Look, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked on the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes, so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to this resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. We even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. Hold on 1 second. First one at scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall left their rooms down, let their guards down, then fled the room. From there he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana? It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right. Quite a coincidence, hmm? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident, just by chance. But the case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Ooh. February 24th, Police Station Criminal Affairs Department. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anymore. Things seem kinda quiet around here today. You're right. The chief of detectives seems the same, though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right, we can come back here later. February 24th, Police Department entrance. Oh, you. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turn out this way when I woke up this morning. I don't know. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. Oh, howdy! Hello. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But, Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did Prospect just head west? Cowboy on screen, you say howdy. It wasn't intentional. That was not intentional. Hold on, I need to open my drink. Drink. If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself... Oh, whoops. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting the steak lunch today. Hi. What you got for drink? Diet Coke. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean, fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the king of the prosecutors? I knew it. What you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a hot prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right, it was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him, too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are they? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. The investigation lead, Damon Gant, and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Scott was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. On a secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Was that a pop noise? Did I just hear like a pop noise from the game? What was that? Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Well, guess we're done here. I didn't hear anything. I swear I heard a pop noise. February 24th, police station, criminal affairs department. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did and the decision about what to do, about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media and tomorrow's trial, there's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there, it's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Why is there a pipe organ? What? Huh? Well, that does explain his theme song, I guess. Well, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. I forgot what voice I gave this guy. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, righto, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. Alana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? Can't you hear from his theme song? That's what I said. I said that explains his theme. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? He's doing that. Hold on. Is there a button to like... Oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. He's doing the you know I had to do it to impose. So, this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Yeah, I said that a while ago. I think the stream lagged. Oh, okay. Something's not right with this picture. That's the vase! The vase! This one. That's it. Wait a minute. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. I can! Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh. But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. All the same, we'd still like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out of here. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems the case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. February 24th, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. That's not... what? Sounds like Detective Gumshoe still have the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battle between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Oh. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye's the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this... Are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those who with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey, Dick. I forgot I forgot his name is Dick Gumshoe. Detective Dick Gumshoe. God. The names. Hey, Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? Only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean... when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl. Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Edgeworth really can't catch a break like Tim. Yeah, he really can't. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So, it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed the lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so when he killed then a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems like he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. The crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. Not last witness, aka Emma. Yeah, I got a knife for you. That's not what I meant to present. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 Incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what is it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. Or was it? This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, plus it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back. Died from punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was in the wound. The broken tip was found in the victim's body. Belonged to murderer Joe Dark. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be ganned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. Let's just ask Marshall. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. He'd be canned, though. He'll lose his job. What did he say? It's the same as before. What can we show him to change his mind? Well, let's just start showing him stuff. Yep, it's not that. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. Shove it all to him, yeah. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, the serial killer was on the loose. Alana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. Nope. Okay, more I gotta present. This is nothing. This is nothing. Oh, wait, it did say, I can't believe Officer Marshall would do that, I think is what he said. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self. Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? About that jar. I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most, this must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? In his office. Do kinda, yeah. He barely is. No locker can be opened without a fingerprint match. Besides, there's no reason for the murderer to touch his own locker. Hey, wasn't your locker the one with the blood on it, detective? The handprint of the real murderer's gloved hand, without any fingerprints. Shh! If they come to arrest me, you'll defend me, won't you? If that happens, I think you'll do better pleading with Edgeworth. That's not that. That's not what I meant to do. Nah. Maybe I could try the vase again. Yep, it's the same. Hmm. That's the ID card record, isn't it? Yes, there's only one number left to investigate, at 4:20 p.m. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. 7777777. That's 1 7 too many, Detective. An executive officer, I just might have a hunch. Maybe the lawyer badge? Maybe. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. You show this to me every time we meet, pal. Real men show their police badge, enough said. I wish I had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice. This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You can do just about anything these days with a card and a secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe. Forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me after all, and what could be wrong with that? I think I'll stay out of this conversation. Just start shoving stuff. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. We're at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe. Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. Yeah, we've done that dialogue before. This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if he hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit he's right, though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. That looked like a smiley face to me down here. We were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. What can I show you? Oh, a lost item report, huh? Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the... I wonder why. Well, I am a master of misplacement, you know. Master, that has such a cool ring to it. The way I see it, if things aren't meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. There's a higher power at work here. Wow, a higher power. Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. About this, is that it has a tag. Yeah. What do I show you? Maybe I don't have anything yet. Maybe I should come back. February 24th, Prosecutor's Office Underground Parking Lot. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today that on the day of the crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. That's what I'm thinking too, yeah. But instead it looks like we just ended up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I'm gonna find all the answers by tomorrow. That's where we found that note. 221 SL9, the SL9 incident. A case that was due for transferal the day of the murder. I never knew the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dart killings. Everyone in this case played some part in that incident. This has to be more than just sheer coincidence. That's about as red as a sports car can get. Yep, it's pretty red, alright. The body was found in Edgeworth's car trunk, and the lock on the trunk was broken. So the question is, why did Miss Sky choose his car? So what model car is it? I think it was called a Standard or Coupe or something like that. These are car types, Mr. Wright, not models. You're I remember this dialogue. Let's move into High Prosecutor's Office. High Prosecutor's Office, room 1202. I wonder if Edgeworth's back yet. There he is! It looks like he's writing something. But what are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? Humph. I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So, what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Hi. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean that the evidence was falsified. The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility is the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth, I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial, and now this one. It seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists. That is odd. after Neil Marshall was murdered. I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seemed strange about it. Day of the crime. You should tell us again about what happened that day. The day Detective Goodman was murdered. I almost said Detective Gumshoe. You were participating in a ceremony over the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes, just odds and ends, clerical stuff. Burp. There was a burp there. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. Take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked me to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So, you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Would we, like, take a picture of the picture? Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He had just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was... Oh, whoops. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yes? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was the official prosecutor's trophy. Look, that was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice this. I didn't notice this trophy was different. I was too distracted by the vase. There's a story behind its design. A story? Sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. What does that mean? This award originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it, though, for Emma's sake? Very well. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Oh, and it's like... Oh, it's like... If those claims are accurate, then they can't really, like... Only one statement can possibly be true of those 2. Like, if the halberd can break any shield, but the shield can stand any weapon, they can't really... I've heard of this. Wait a minute. These claims contradict each other. The fucking... Court objection. Very perceptive, but then again, you've heard the story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless, and thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. The music, yeah, it's the fucking court trial music. I see, so the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so, they symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. Honestly, I thought that it was a shield because it was like you're a prosecutor, so you're like breaking the defense, and shields are a defense item. I went to take a drink and I just accidentally knocked the pop against my fucking tooth. Ow. Yeah, I thought it was just because, like, break defense. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow! Thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd part of the award abolished. Chief Gant? Now, can I go talk to Gumshoe? Oh, February 24th, Prosecutor's Office, underground parking lot. Excuse me. Oh, it's you. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Starr, I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. That's certainly a statement. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. This can't all be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness? The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Starr's hatred towards Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. Joe Dark, that's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two. After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate. Her? Alana Skye. My sister? The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant? That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out. You mean with the forging of the evidence? Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Skye transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Skye was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter. She was being used? Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Gant led the investigation, with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular, was almost unreal. His magnetism? By that I mean his ability to attract evidence. He'd produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he'd handled. Incredible evidence? You mean... Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though. I take it she's talking about forged evidence. Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall. When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would have ever recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Miss Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that? Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she? Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right, having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office. What? You mean, that's why Lana was transferred? If he could control the chief prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how can he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change. At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Miss Starr. You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chef than I've been. Oh, that's not the right place. Oh, you're back. You're still here. I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ. You're a DJ as well? If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey. Gant, yeah, Gant super sus. Oh, that DJ. You gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you into the chief's office, period. Be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there. There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind. What if I do this? Hey, that's it! Read the award ceremony. Yep. Say, this design's based on an old Chinese parable, right? Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon. Yeah, that's it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard. No, but this one sounds more exciting. Anyway, it gets kind of gory after that. I'll spare you the details. Oh, no, that's not what to do. No, that's not it. Dragon, yeah. Where'd the dragon come from? Yep. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Maybe I don't have it yet. Hey, do you have anything to say about this? Okay. Guess not. What do I have to show you? Saw this dialogue before. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. I think, yeah, we got this dialogue. Fuck. Probably you don't have it yet? I guess, yeah. Where do I go? Hmm. Do I have something for you, maybe? A star. The only thing I can give you now is a poppy seed rice set. Talk about cheap. Eat this, and maybe you'll be able to tell black from white in court tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. So is she just not gonna respond to any evidence at all? Yeah, I don't think she has anything to say at all. Do I have something for you, maybe? Hey, do you know anything about this? Hmm. Yeah, that's not it. Hmm. But this isn't related to the case, remember? You said so yourself. So I did. Chief Gant gave this to you that day, didn't he? He asked you to bring it here from the police department. The chief is a very competent man, but sometimes he does things that don't make any sense. At least, that it's better than being incompetent and doing things that don't make sense. A certain detective comes to mind. So he won't discuss anything related to the case with me. What am I missing here? Hmm. 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 What is there? Still riding around today. Hearing the Benedetta say he's dancing. Speaking of dancing, the whole police department has been dancing about like crazy since the other day. Can I take out his batteries? I just can't help but feel he's going to do something naughty. Howdy. Let's see, what the fuck am I missing here? Do you want help for the gumshoe? Yeah, I'll take some help. I genuinely don't know what to do here. No backseat. It's okay if I say yeah. If I say I want a little bit of help. I want at least a hint. No cheating, banned streamer. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cheat. I'm bad at video game. I don't have brain. It's scrambled egg. It's from Edgeworth, okay. So... I don't have it yet. I gotta go talk to Edgeworth. Scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs are good. Whoopsies. Oh yeah, the paper. I wonder what he was writing before. Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look. Are you crazy? Edward is sitting right there. Just distract him. I'll check it out. Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First, let me see what this girl's doing crawling around my feet. Not even a second. It didn't work for a second. He didn't even look. What? Letter of... If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says, letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died. But, Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault. I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been a just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. And no one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious. Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something. This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Letter of resignation put into pocket. Well, bye. Have fun with your problems. Hey, I got something to show you, Gumshoe. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I can't believe they've pushed him this far. Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible. When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice too. But I know different now. He trusts us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him. Detective. That's it, I made up my mind. But... Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out, they wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report. Look at me, it's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with that Mr. Edgeworth. Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective. Thank you. Was he even on the case? No. Gay, homosexual, gay. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Oh, there's where the picture was taken. We're in! If anyone finds us now. Detective Gumshoe's a goner. That happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Eek! Gah! Oh, okay. Buy followers. Wow! Who knew you could just buy followers? Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe, what are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking, I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point of giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket? What? 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 You can have new followers, guess. For a second there, I thought that the person you banned had almost the same username as you, and I was like, damn, they really almost had Mara's username. I forgot how to ban people. Yeah, hey, don't do that to my card. I hardly ever get a chance to come in here. So I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Now, if we're lucky. Now, come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Let's talk. That's literally so far from my name. Yeah, I know, it's very far from your name. It's just that I for some reason read your I only saw the, like, your username and banned, and I didn't see the rest of the sentence, so I was like, damn, that person's username was similar to Mara's. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir, this is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So, ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Oh, you'd be surprised. Can I ask something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the LSL-9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah. You wouldn't be. No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now then, let's look around a bit more. Let's just ignore that. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Yes. He's the most sus at the moment. Like, I've never seen a more suspect guy. Chief Gant, so it's finally come to this. What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. He's really the most sus, yeah. Alright, examine. No clues here. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe! That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so. It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it. I don't fucking know that shit. A 7-digit number. I think I might just know what it is. Do I? Is it... But number... Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want to try my birth date. It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. The most sus... Okay. Bingo. What number did you enter? Whose birthday was it, Belle? 7777777, the final ID card number on that record. What? The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day? You mean 7777777, that ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. This can only mean one thing, that's Chief Gant's ID number. Say, anyone care to look inside? Yes, I would. I didn't even know, I just guessed. Honestly, I wasn't sure. I mean, I had a guess that was his ID number, and I figured that if any numbers I know, it would probably be that one. Because unless there's another number somewhere inside this room, that's probably it. Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away? Look, it's a shard from a broken cup. It somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? There's something else in here, too. What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. This is a handprint, isn't it? Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design? I don't think so. Oh, well, it was just a thought. Is that it? This is all that was in the safe? Apparently so. It's empty now. A piece of cloth with a handprint on it. And a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great. Now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident? Come on. There's gotta be something we can show the detective. Yeah, I got something for you. That's not what I meant to... That's not what I meant to do. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Ah, those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic. Yeah, that happened like yesterday. Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case? That's right, one of those shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found. You mean this one that was in the safe? Yes, that one. That was in the safe. Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Yes. Here, let me see that shred. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do. Mr. Wright, here's some glue. If I can piece this together again, I'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here goes. Wow! love the sprite changes while he's thinking. Yeah, it's good. I really like that detail. There, it fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident. Oh, whoops. But...
Hey, guys, get a load of this.
What is it?
This piece you just attached. It's different from the others.
There's a reddish line on it. A reddish line? That's blood.
I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe?
Do I also have to present something for the, clothing as well? Let's present this. That's why I have to get it all out of my system now, you understand, don't you? Don't be so negative, Detective. We do want you to share your information, though.
Oh, am I fool? I never had anything useful to share to begin with.
Got to stay positive. Okay. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons?
Sure is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations.
First the pipe organ, now this armor. Do you know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room? What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it. I'm not paying 1 cent of my time. Why does Gant have the same kind of office as Buck from Classicaloid? They both have big-ass organs in their offices. I don't know. You don't have any taxes to pay.
Shh, be careful what you say. Who knows? The Chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak.
I don't think he'd fit in there. Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out.
Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be.
These shelves are mostly empty. Emma tax evasion. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture on the left shelf. Hey! This is when Lana and I went to that theme park. Oof. This was Lana's desk. It sure is tidy. Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner. There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here?
No. Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of the partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of.
Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? This was taken on that day 2 years ago. The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma.
After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here, then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later.
Gee, you think?
The Chief's organ sure is excitable old. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department.
That's on the 2nd floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. His organ, his pipe organ. Yeah, no, I was making a penis joke. I see.
When a detective screws up, the Chief calls them to his office and makes them listen to the organ for hours.
What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul.
After that, the detectives can't hear anything for days except the ringing in their ears.
So it's an instrument of punishment, literally. But aren't the Chief's ears affected?
He never listens to anyone anyways.
That's besides the point. He probably wears earplugs.
Look at that giant window. Makes you want to crush through it and jump outside.
This is the 15th floor.
I know, I was just saying.
Saying what?
Ever since making Detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams. As long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired. Don't say that! So is Chief Gant deaf? No, I think he just does. I think he just probably wears earplugs. Noise canceling headphones or something. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Speaking of that, when we were here earlier... Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. Oh, yeah. I think he's built different. Yeah, it could be also that he's just gotten attuned to the pipe organ. I wonder what he was reading.
This looks like a list of evidence.
A list of evidence?
In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Huh? SL9 incident. I wonder what this is doing here.
Hold on, Detective. What did you just say?
I said, I wonder what...
No, about evidence lists. Normally, they're twice as long?
That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence.
A half-sized list of evidence. The list of evidence, it seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here? I knew it! The chief must be hiding something about that case. It would appear so. Evidence list added to the court record. Okay, let's see this again. Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk. Found this inside the drawer. A list of evidence from the SL9 incident. Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of that list. What would this list be doing here? You better look a little more into this list. Yes. Enter. Can I not read? What the fuck? Why he draw? I wonder what this is. It looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here. What is it? Did you find something? I can't make it out. I better keep quiet about it for now. Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing. Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright? I better not forget about this picture. I certainly will. Probably. I don't think there's anything else. Another window. You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here...
At first, the chief wanted to use stained glass for this window.
Really? Why didn't he?
They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view.
Oh. Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. Gant is also an artist. Gant illustrator moment. Oh my god, does he do commissions? I don't think there's anything else in here. Don't I still have to, like, prove the, Do I still have to prove the, like, fucking... He does commissioners. Do I have to, like, prove about the, like, cloth that we found, or was it just the, like, I mean, it's not in my evidence, so I assume I do. The, like, cloth with the hand... Oh, wait, just remembered. We literally have this. Detective Gumshoe, I'd like you to have a look at this.
I don't know what that is. So you want to take some fingerprints?
That's a good idea, Detective.
Alright, go to town. Sheesh.
Sheesh. What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that?
Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh?
Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe.
Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Shush, where's your sense of humor?
Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle that powder on the cloth. Then once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away. What are you, my mom? I have to be told... I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. I'm so good at dusting. American Psycho moment. Alright, blow. I gave it my best shot. That kind of result won't be good for matching prints, will it? But it doesn't look like we'll get a clear result from this print. Okay, let's try a different finger then. I don't even know which finger I tried. This one? That's a horrible fucking print. Yeah, it was a really bad print. I don't even know where I was, like, clicking, honestly. Because I thought it was just gonna make me dust, like, the whole handprint at first. I'm literally just pouring this whole fucking jar of, like, dusting powder onto the fucking cloth. My prints are probably in the system. Mine aren't. I can do whatever I want. Do you think burning off your fingerprints hurts? I've never actually looked into the process. Oh hey, good fingerprint. Oh, huh. Emma? Yeah, I'm sure it does. You say that in stream? What, the fingerprint burning off or the fact that I can do anything? You literally need acid or some kind of chemical to burn it off, or grill. Which method do you think would hurt less? Now, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here? Hey, you found a match? Whose fingerprints are they? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match. Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey you, over here. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe?
Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now.
Or maybe you should hold on to this.
Found in Sheepskin's safe. Evidence of... Oh yeah, and I should use the fucking Lysol or whatever the fuck we got. Neither. I see.
Well, was that any help?
Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence. Now that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat? Eek! Chief Gant! Oh, I didn't get to use the Lysol. We didn't think you'd be back so soon. Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. And as I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pool. Just then, I thought of a certain detective.
Do you mean me, sir?
Now then, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, you in the coat. Me, sir.
Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore.
But, sir.
Now get out.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get to spread the Lysol. We'll be on our way out. On our way too, then. Wait, you're the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet. Me, sir?
I'd like a word with you.
But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet.
You with the spiky hair, you're free to go.
Mr. Wright? Don't leave her.
Look, Belle, I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you?
I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired.
Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it.
Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was holding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why is she kept eerily silent about it all this time?
Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal.
After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see. So the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it. Tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me over these past couple of days is absolutely nothing, not a single useful thing. Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. Seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you to otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. I'm sure Edgeworth knows all about Phoenix being thick and headed. Oh yeah. I was trying to go for like a double joke there. Damn, Edgeworth, keep your sex life to yourself. Yeah. Yeah. Good one, streamer. Woo, that's my streamer. Oh yeah. Alright, let's talk. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, who may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I'm supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Literally the first choice. Well, Miss Guy? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? His name is Mr. Poopy. I see. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other. Damon Gant.
I'm pretty sure you're guaranteed fired if you've been arrested as a public official.
Well. Big L. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident.
I'm just saying, since she was like, you're addressing the chief prosecutor, like, bitch, I doubt that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's different in Japan, but I feel like it probably in this case wouldn't be, considering how Japan's legal system is.
The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. That's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder.
Why not?
Come now, Mr. Wright, you can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate.
In the murder of Detective Goodman?
Or perhaps I should say, follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car.
Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman.
Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body.
The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife?
No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it.
The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife.
I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife.
That would be Edgeworth's knife. Joe Mama's knife. Thanks.
That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand.
That's the reason for the bandage on your right hand.
Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in.
Miss Starr, huh? Did she, like, lift up the body to stab it? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly?
It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible.
So, you hid Dark's knife?
The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that.
So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edgeworth's exhaust pipe.
Right, then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler.
You asked Emma?
I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this.
That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence.
Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day.
A bad feeling?
The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall.
To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him?
The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or, at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own.
Oh, you mean...
Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands.
He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence.
He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared.
So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room. It's all coming together. We're finally fucking figuring this shit out.
I'm afraid that's all I can tell you.
But, Lana...
You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow.
Nah, I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow's trial, there's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've gotta get to the bottom of everything. It's all connected. Detective Goodman's real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. Woohoo! Save your progress up to this point. Yes. I think we're getting near the end of this case. Because, like, this will be the last day of the trial. February 25th, 9:47 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby Number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? Bye. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant is on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Oh no! Chief Gant. You! Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Archie, been back into the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
His tits are fat and sagging, I see.
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what?
Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
Lana, what the fuck?
What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial.
Huh?
I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office.
No, Lana! Was she holding behind her back? You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea.
In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services.
But Lana!
Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney.
See, this is why we shouldn't have let Emma go with fucking Gant. We should have fucking dragged Emma with us.
The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation.
That's not his voice.
Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
This can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Edward! Thank God. I mean, I knew someone had to fucking throw in an objection, thank God.
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Edgeworth claps flippers. That was the gayest sounding thing. What? Me?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What? Yes, you. I mean, I guess I did sound kinda gay there, yeah. Edgeworth's not really my type, though, so...
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
I just meant the way it sounded. yeah.
The kind of deal, not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Don't be such a silly little boy.
Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. Hi, Emma.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator. You're a high school student, that's your occupation. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. An incident that was resolved 2 years ago. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then.
He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago, witness testimony. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
Could you perhaps not remember who it was that you saw stabbing?
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
We've gotta admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
Hey, that's my turn. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. Press.
2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct? Yes, she was second in command under the then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
Did you see the man?
A man? Yes, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran to Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there was 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark just then. The lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside.
That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then. Yeah, but that wouldn't have... That had to have not lasted long enough for you to be able to see everything. You could see that someone was getting stabbed, but a lightning flash is pretty quick. You wouldn't have had the time to process who was there. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial.
And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw?
Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture?
Yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
Ask about the picture. Yeah, lightning is damn fast. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning.
But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Witness, would you mind if we added a statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene once, but it seems to have been lost. No, it wasn't.
Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture.
And yet, you would insist on denying its existence.
Huh?
Hey, I'm not the bad guy.
All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident.
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over? It... Ah! What's this?
Yes, what is that? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. Yeah. Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
I don't think that's wrestling. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you.
What?
What?
Order, order! But, Miss Skye, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means...
Your Honor.
You're right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head.
If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see.
Is something wrong?
Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. How did you never turn it over? It's that thing. Why is the blue badger? What? What?
That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in the court record. Oh my god.
Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see was shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. So you didn't see the people.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
You did not see it. You did not see Joe Dark, did you? This picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. So, at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue? No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright. And I was knocked to the floor. You were knocked to the floor? Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt. What happened after the lightning flashed? Must have fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further? What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here! Anyway, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. That's strange. She claims this is exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Is there? Why? The fucking blue badger. Now they're just being gay to each other in court. Oh, now they're just being gay to each other in court. Oh, because he died getting stabbed in the back. Wow, he was... Knowing how this case is probably gonna end up turning out, he really was just stabbed in the back. I mean, you could maybe do a stab in the back there? Maybe? I could see where shadows. After that, I must have fainted. Picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant. Tab. You know, hold on. Actually, first off, let me save. Now, that could not have happened. He was stabbed in the back. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday. Hee bears.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
I think it's this part here. I don't see what's so strange about that. That's because the tri-states... Mr. Wright, how could you? The act of making an innocent girl cry should warrant the death penalty! Says the dropout art student. I guess he means I shouldn't shift the blame to others.
Yes, well, so long as the defense has learned his lesson, I better take another look at that autopsy report in this picture. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be... Yeah.
The knife? The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken.
Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But, Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken, too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It's the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. Ooh, the girls are fighting.
That's right, but what could this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. I just got a notification. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No.
Order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being two broken knives?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? The halberd. Fucking died the same day he got the award, damn. Yeah, talk about bad luck. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife. If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. I can't say it. If anything's broken here, it's you.
Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright, but may I remind you that the...
What? Do I have to show the photo? The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the. This is the picture of the awards ceremony. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh! Man, though it's the Halberg, but thought it's a man thought it's the Halberg, but it's the correct evidence. What? What?
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it?
could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list, the one with that picture scribbled on the back.
Never mind, I don't know how to structure the sentence. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to say here. I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What?
You drew that?
That's right.
The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget.
I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye?
Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. Everyone hates Blue Badger. Yeah. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with that knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow.
This is certainly most unusual.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Stop, please, don't pursue this any further. Oh. Lana?
What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I'm already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Skye, we've already come to this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. The fucking Blue Badger. Emma's recollection. So the Blue Badger was designed after what she saw. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw a shadow. Okay, let's go back. Bailiff whack his pee-pee. Let's just start questioning everything.
When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark.
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think?
All I could really see were shadows.
The power outage was immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
Apparition of the Blue Badger, it's a tulpa.
So then you...
Sorry, I'm laughing at the idea of Blue Badger tulpa.
And rushed towards the both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife.
I don't know what that means. Oh, then I guess you don't get the joke.
But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Same, I don't know what that means either. No one gets the joke but me then. This is what I get for knowing fucking online fucking Tumblr shit. Well, it's not. Well, it doesn't originate from Tumblr, but a lot of people are talking about it on Tumblr.
What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur.
Miss Skye was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next?
Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See, I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast.
And that is Gant?
And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. It's all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember. Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion.
Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
His shadow?
So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then by all means, tell us what the shadow really was.
Yeah, let me say it first.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this Blue Badger, really?
Court record. Don't fucking tell me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. No, don't tell me it's this. Don't tell me it's fucking this. Don't tell me it's fucking it's the fucking face. Don't fucking tell me it's the goddamn face. You have to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, I think I know what it is! The Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture, yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Can I just say the fucking Twitch smile emote is so fucking ominous looking? Mr. Wright!
In this room, very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger look-alike.
The mysterious Blue Badger was in fact this.
But that's... what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've gotta show them the correct angle to look at this from. This? Do I have to get it exact, or will it get me for close enough? This isn't right. I've got to make it look more like the Badger. Allow me to remind the defense its case hinges on the witness's drawing. Does it match the shape the witness drew? We cannot accept his claim. I find the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more, or horizontally. Oh god. Oh, that makes it easier. H and maybe like this. There's 3 handles, but one is broken off. Like this maybe then? Like that, maybe? Oh, yeah! Well, is this a miracle or what? No one could possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. I will send you many pictures.
Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
What do you mean?
So that Badger thing was actually just a jar.
That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed, very well then. Please tell us. What difference now that
What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The murder weapon. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? Do I?
I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife, and the next instant the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit?
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility?
Do you? Do I what? Of course the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless, I don't know if I can go through with this. I can. After I save.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, that means Emma was the one who got killed. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Ugh. No! But I never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? She can't be, charged with murder for that, though. It was, a complete accident in defense.
I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Unfortunately, I very much do. Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. Without evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has always been a wild goose chase from the beginning. It's just kind of funny knowing that this game starts with him literally talking to his fucking dead friend to help with the case for her murder. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. In one manner or another. That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left for you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Hold on. Saving again, because I thought I would have a different... thought I would use a different piece of evidence here. Okay, I think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. It's on the vase. It's on the vase, isn't it? Print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep this information myself for now. Check. The dark red stains must be blood traces from only the fragments found in Chief Gant's office still has remaining lines on it. It said Emma. It's in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased.
This is a message left by the deceased.
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, is he going to just speak the killer's name?
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
It looks like someone wiped the blood away.
However, yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away.
Yes, this is a line here drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were at once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. The jar is now known as Blue Badger, yeah. One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed direction. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No!
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these blood stains will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances. His murderer's name.
Can I not connect that there? What? Oh, I can. Okay. I guess I have to look for the yellow spots to connect stuff. And, use your stylus, noob. Yeah, I'll just fucking... Yeah, my fucking... Hold on, where is it? The stylus isn't in it. Hold on, it's probably in here. Yeah, let me just take out my stylus and fucking... ASMR. Awful. Awful SMR. Much better, thank you. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Awful ASMR, yep. Okay, but like... They can't try her for that. It wasn't intentional. It was the most they could get her for was manslaughter, which sounds worse than murder, but is a lesser charge somehow.
Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life
Was Emma Skye. I mean, it's also closed, so... I mean, it might I'm not sure if it's closed yet because of the fact that the evidence was, like it was closed, but, like, it can be reopened if the reason why the Marshal was trying to even steal the evidence in the first place was so that, like, the case wouldn't be completely closed. Because if the evidence was stolen, then they wouldn't be able to completely close the case yet. So it's not completely closed yet. See where they can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Gant. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Fuck off. Oh my god. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Can we kill this guy? But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. I mean, he's got a point there. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, that fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, 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 order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Okay. There we go. Saving content. Save your progress. Yes. Nope. Shut up. J. Title screen. Alright, that's where I'm gonna call it here for today. I guess next time we'll probably end up finishing this trial. And I think this is the last trial in the first game. Because I've got the trilogy. And I was like looking at the achievements, and I think this is the last, like, because they like say which like part belongs to which. Also, there's a lot of achievements for just like doing weird shit in this game, like just saying stupid stuff. But yeah, I'll probably finish this trial next time. So thank you for coming to my stream. Thank you for coming. Have a good.